Ready. Am I coming in? Am I coming in 5x5? Am I loud and clear? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing today? Huh? There we go. Got audio, got video. Cooking with grease. Cooking with grease. Look at everybody in the chat. What? What? Even Ryan West, who said he wasn't going to be here, he showed up with the keys, unlocked the door, let everybody in, and then he bolted. What a guy. It's crazy. Joe, yeah, he figured right. Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for letting everybody in, Ryan. Laramie, good to see you. Jake, morning. Lucas from Nebraska, good to see you. Hope everything's well. I haven't seen you in a while. All right. Jason, 96. Niner 6, good morning. Hoos, what's up? What's up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Hoos? I just picture Hoos getting up in the Pacific Northwest, like on a morning like today, like just, the sun beams into his room and the animated birds chirp from the window. And he's all chipper, actually skips to the why am I blanking? I can't even think. Skips his way to fill his coffee cup, whistling a delightful tune, if you will. Anyways, Grumpy Corn Games, good to see ya. Shamba, good to see ya. Harrigan, morning. Gabe, morning. Blake, morning. Keith from Chucktown, good to see ya. This comment, Harrigan. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Depends on how good the cartoons were on that Saturday. Boy, we had some rough patches, I think, as kids. Michael Holland, good to see ya. Morning. All right. Thanks, Joe, for the sound and video check. Thanks, Blake. William Thorpe, good morning. All right. Marjorie, good evening. She's to Marjorie. Good evening, Marjorie. Good to see ya. All right. Aaron, good to see ya. Neighbor, howdy, neighbor. It's good to see ya. Thanks for keeping me company the other night when I was bored out of my gourd. Our Coriolis game got canceled due to sickness. Monkey down with the sickness. Yeah. And Aaron and I shat the shit for a while. Just past midnight, a trash trucker. I have a lovely scotch and a cigar, and Gandalf the Grey comes. Oh, fantastic. That sounds... I just picture a big, huge leather chair, smoking jacket. Stern glances. Mike, good to see you. Morning. Full house. Nice to see everybody. Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Singing the Marine Corps hymn. Yes. Right. As Reveille plays in the background. Orcus. Morning from California. It's chilly morning at 49. We'll make it through the ice age. I'm Gandalf. Whew. Right over my head. And it's got to get a little high to get over my head. I'm all right with Gandalf. Gandalf's fantastic. Marjorie says Scott smells. Pff, there you go. Shots fired. Jeff, hey. All right. For those of you that have not been here before or seeing this maybe later or popping in and you start at the beginning, I'm Sean. I like tabletop RPGs along with folks that are in the chat, and I get up every morning, Saturday mornings at 8 and talk about RPGs. What are you going to do? So typically there's a discussion topic or topic of the stream, if you will. And then I go into some RPG stuff it's all RPG stuff, but specifically to print, maybe some new print releases, crowdfunding campaigns that are in the final days, any particular news that may catch people's attention, all filtered through the mind of this crazy guy you're listening to right now. So Dexian's Gaming Corner, good to see you. 49, a pleasant time of year, Mass. Yeah, 49 is like, yesterday, I think we got up to 45 motorcycles were riding. Motorcycle riding weather. So if you've never ridden a motorcycle, like every time you go out, the temperature is probably 10 degrees cooler on a motorcycle. So if it's 90 and you're on a bike, it usually feels about 80 if you're in motion. So imagine if you're riding at 45 degrees, it could be a little cool, even cooler, probably the cooler it gets. Eileen, good to see ya. Hey, should I divulge? It was Eileen's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Eileen, again. So, yeah, Radagast, something. I'm right. Well, what's the topic this week? What is the topic? I don't have one. I'm crowdsourcing. I'm open to ideas. This is going to be more of a banter for a little while. Open discussion. I haven't had one that's just kind of been free form, completely, like nothing, right? It's always been a question of the day or a discussion topic of the day. I do have co-GMing on the docket. I know Jim, speak of this guy. Speak of the devil. I know Jim had mentioned co-GMs, like being a topic, but I want to do that, but I want to kind of bank it like for a good time and kind of put it out there a little early so people can kind of put their thoughts together around co-GMing. And there's a couple other people that are interested in it as well. So I just figured this morning, we'll see. My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Thanks for being a supporter. Evening from Australia. So you and Blake must be like probably at the local pub together, right? I'm guessing. Blake Ryan. Blake's RPG zone, if you will. How uncouth of me. I should not tell people their real names out of the chat. That is not the way to do things. But anyways, I want to start out with any RPG, like what RPG book are you reading right now? Not playing. I mean, if you're reading the book and playing, or if you're reading the book and GMing, that's fine. Whatever. So last week I just did a warm up of what's everybody, temp check, what's everybody playing. But this week I'm kind of interested, just to throw it out there, what RPG related book. And I will accept books that you are reading that may not be specific to RPGs, but maybe you're reading it to get inspiration to run or play an RPG. So just a book. I have my office not too far from here that I visit a couple times a day, if you will. And I usually have a book there so I can just grab and, conduct business, if you will. If you will, wink, wink, say no more, wink, wink. Know what I'm saying? So just curious what anybody's reading specifically. Maybe it's a new game. Maybe it's an old game that you haven't played yet. Orcus Dorcas topic. I got to write some of these down. What real-world location has the most realistic Cthulhian mythos horrors, and why is it Australia? Oh, indeed. Yeah, that's a good one. And why is it Australia? Blake's jumping on a gun, reading Werewolf the Apocalypse version 5, seeing what they've changed / improved. All right. Whoa, God, everything's bouncing around. Triangle Agency. Wayne. So Wayne's in one of my game groups. I'm interested to hear how you like that, or what you think of it, Wayne. Assuming you like it. I really wanted, like, the premise of the Triangle Agency was like, oh, cool. And then I just like, oh, no, I don't know. Dexian says, I'm currently reading the Electric State setting and looking at the art book. Have you watched the Amazon movie yet, Dexian? I know it's got mixed reviews. It's a bummer because it's probably going to directly impact that RPG. That's the good and the bad, eh? Hey, we got a movie. Oh, it's not doing that great. Test tracking monsters, aliens, and holes in the ground. A history of RPGs. Fantastic. I've talked to and met Stu. Talked to him about West Marches, because he runs a West Marches for their patron at Vintage RPG. Check it out. That book If you know a group of gamers and you're like, God, what? I'd like to get them something for Christmas or their birthday, and they really like it. Maybe they're new in the hobby, maybe they're grognard or whatever, but and been around for a while. That book is fantastic. It's just fantastic. I cannot give it enough praise to Stu. Great coffee table book. Insight into some of the RPGs. If you haven't grabbed a copy, I highly suggest it. Michael says, I'm reading the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide, Assault on Hunting Lodge 7 for my ongoing Pathfinder game, and Heart for an upcoming game. All right. I'm reading my old copy of Conspiracy X Paranormal Sourcebook. Woof. Yeah, that's a classic. John, good to see you. John Caldwell, welcome. Reading SLA Industries RPG, Mythic GM, fantastic. Almost finished with Knockspell 2 and the MERP module Northern Mirkwood. Also have been reading OD&D. So this gives me an idea of what, to Gabe. I know Gabe. He talks about what's going on, through Analytic Dice in our Discord. And so it's always interesting to see what's kind of got somebody's attention, like Gabe, and what's going through his brain. What's going through your mind, Gabe? Tell me. And I could go through the books there. Gabe is exploring OD&D. Interesting. Blake, SLA, Rocketed Old School. That the one with the pumpkin head dude? Mike says Barbarians of Lemuria Legendary Edition to get inspiration from the magic system. Got it? See, get a little why am I reading it? I'm interested to hear about this piece. Right? Or I'm thinking about running it. Or I just bought it. I want to know more about it, right? I'm currently reading Roadside Picnic. Inspiration for Numenera and a few other RPGs. Roadside Picnic. I am unfamiliar. I must research. Who's Barbarians of Lemuria? GURPS, Conan. And Conan. Oh, interesting. So Conan just the series? Or novels? And which ones, right? There's The Return of Conan, Conan the Destroyer, Conan the one that comes in from the cold and eats breakfast. What version of Conan? Vein of the Earth, Wasteland Degenerates, The Evils of Ilmire, and Black Powder and Brimstone. That is a variety there for sure, Lucas. Jim, I'm reading some old D&D modules for potential use in a couple of upcoming games. Before the Lost City and Caverns of Thracia. You have to roll the R on that, by the way, just so you know, because otherwise you just sound like no bueno. So I'm just saying. Patrick, good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for the super chat once again. Much appreciated. Tell Scott if he doesn't buy a 700-page, 5-pound Blackbirds book for $16, 2 cents a page, and $3.20 a pound, that he really ain't collector guy. Man, collecting, right? How many RPG books deem you a collector? Do you get that, Scott? You get what Patrick's throwing down? Arrogance and Gardens of Yin, Savage Worlds, Fantasy Companion, Six Gun Fury. That is hilarious. I laugh because of the arrogance. You know what these are probably like me. I'm going to go into my office. I want to pick some reading material. I'm like, you know what? Gardens of Yin, Savage Worlds, Fantasy Companion. Oh, and Six Gun Fury. That's good stuff, dude. I am waiting for my Gardens of Yin and the Stygian Library to show up. I bought both hard copy on the last Kickstarter. I know you got your copy here again. Oh, and Jim says, and I may have prompted Gabe to read OD&D. So you are Jim is influencer. Influencer Jim. Hey, Jim's an influencer. John, SLA 2nd edition, I should say, Pumpkinhead still included. Dixian's following up with my question. I've watched the movie, They deviated from the graphic novel a lot. I didn't know there was a graphic novel for Electric State, honestly. Interesting. The movie was way, way less dark. Kind of missed, but not as bad as some folks say. Fair enough. Marjorie says, reading The Human Factor by Graham Greene for the Grognar Files book club. Don't normally read spy stuff. What? Spy stuff? Reading The Human Factor. I must read that. If you don't know me, I have always been I've just always loved the espionage spy genre. Even when as a kid, one of my research papers when I was like, 12 years old, and I'm not kidding, like it was CIA. It was CIA. I think it was on the CIA and capital punishment for some odd reason. I don't know why I combined the two. And up until a few years ago, I had that paper. Like it was 12-year-old writing Sean. Like, wow. Ugh. But anyways, it's always captured me. I've always been a kind of a James Bond fan, amongst other things. And it's probably the one genre that I absolutely appreciate, but play the least in RPGs. And I'm starting to kind of dabble a little bit in that space again and trying to figure out. There's the Kickstarter. It escapes my mind right now. It's the second edition. Was it Hot War, Cold, something? I can't remember. I got to bring it up. But anyways, but I find that espionage in tabletop RPGs can be kind of difficult to pull off. And I'm trying to find, I was hip on Cold Shadows for a long time, got it to the table and was like, I really wish I could have got that thing to work, but it's like any plan, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Pretty much that RPG didn't survive contact with the players. Anyways, Cobalt Guide to Plots and Campaigns, interesting collection of essays by Jake. I've read some of Cobalt's like Game Master tips, which are essay based, right? It's conglomeration of essays. Flipping through Karen 2E, DG Dead Drops, or Delta Green Dead Drops, Occult Black Madonna by Orcus. Wayne says, on the triangle, says, pros, love the vibe. Denser than I thought it would be. Seems like a game where you're going to want to refer back to the book more than I thought. Wonderfully weird, though. Creator is a local. Ah, okay. Shambot, I'm also reading up on Electric State RPG and digging into Night Witches. Ah, Jason Morningstar stuff. Got it. Cool. All right. I have a few books like that are right there that I've kind of taken into the office and brought out of the office. One is War Stories, which is Year Zero Engine, Indie, World War II. And then I have Orbital Blues that I read through. I think it's one of the few RPGs that I think I literally read cover to cover. It's kind of a quicker read because it's not as dense on each page. I don't know. I may run it. And then I started reading these games and these titles. There's a Blades in the Dark espionage game that I was starting to look at. Minutes to Midnight. Is it Minutes to Midnight or 2 Minutes to Midnight? I think it's 2 minutes to midnight. Maybe Minutes to Midnight. I don't know. We'll see. I don't play or run a lot of Blades in the Dark. Anyways. Orcus Dork is also reading The Grey Knight for the Pendragon prep. My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. I'm going to read that his little handle. Also, Baptism of Fire. Interesting. Jim says, love the Roadside Picnic. Now I got to check that out. So these are all things like, maybe I'm missing out on something. I should probably check this other stuff out. Laramie, I'm going to chill with coffee in the lobby, ran into friends. I'm out. I'm game on. Laramie's at GaryCon, folks. That's why he's bolting. So all good, Laramie. Just bring your phone and set it on the table. So all those awkward silences are filled with this banter. A lot of votes for Roadside Picnic. The Strugatsky brothers. Interesting. Oh, and someone that shall remain nameless bought me kinks and cantrips as a joke. His character is getting hit with one of the spells in our next %E games. Imagine that's 5E games. All right. Should read OD&D 2, I suppose. Yeah. Well, I could put it on the list. Stefan, good to see ya. Stefan and his rainbow boa. Hello, I'm here. That's how he does. That's how he comes and goes from our Discord. That's how I picture. What's going on, Stefan? 2,000 plus RPG books deem you a collector. Ask me how I know. Right? The struggle is real, or maybe not struggle. Marjorie says, but Patrick only likes GURPS. Well, what are you going to do, right? We all pick a game that we prefer. It's all right. It's all good. Jeff Walkett says, Fritz Leiber's Swords Against Death to get the vibes for an upcoming DCC game in Brindlewood Bay because the game is amazing. So I'm going to guess, Jeff, you are running Lankmar, right? The Lankmar version of DCC? Because I think it's a little bit different, right? That's what I've been told. Harrigan says, I have my reasons for reading OD&D. Morning, I have rehearsals for a play called Kills Monsters. Characters play Dungeons and Dragons while dealing with real-life events. Interesting. Kills Monsters. I've seen a play, but I don't think it's that one. It has to do with RPGs. Mike M. finished reading the Game Master's Handbook of Proactive Role-Playing. The book is good, but the basic idea of it is have players make goals and earn XP from completing and pursuing those goals. Well, it's boiling things down. Brandon says we have quite a few game books that we are originally not going to run. I'd say we're collectors. We have every D&D core book, not BX, with only 2 reprints. Do have a Moldvay box complete. Oof, that's a lot. Cold Shower on Cold Shadows, indeed, for sure. Bond espionage? Well, no, but still. Spy genre, I said spy genre too. Old school RPG that I miss. The old alternative setting, Dark Matter. We held Cold Shadows' head in the toilet until it stopped moving. Oh, this guy. Nerds RPG Variety Cast cover Top Secret New World Order not long ago. I played it before it was out when Mr. Carpio, rest in peace, was around. I don't know. It was a while ago at GaryCon. Probably don't even have playtesting credits, damn it. Damn you, Jason Elliott. I thought it was an interesting game. I told them it sounded like, and I think it is, and they stuck with it despite my feedback. Go figure. But it's very, there's a die for this and a die for that, but I don't know if they can move. I don't think they can move. You can assign the die types to different things. So, it reminded me a little bit of the Savage Worlds piece. Mawburn, or M. Auburn, or Ma-U-Burn, or Mawburn, or Mob-Earn. I'm sad the Electric State movie wasn't great. Yeah. Sean should crack out Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes. Yeah. I will. I will grab it. I'll grab it. I heard some jokers on a podcast talk about that one. The only thing that kind of gets me, and I think I mentioned this before, is kind of the aesthetic. Like it's derived from a Belgium comic book or something like that, or the artist is derived, used to do art for a Belgium comic book. I don't know. I got to get myself around the art. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like a tone thing for me. I don't know. Test checking Orbital Blues runs so well. The system drives the theme so well. I was watching Victory Conditions with Doug. So if you don't know who Doug is, he's done quite a bit of work for Free League at one point. He would be at their booth and handle some of those back behind the scenes kind of things and he's at our Discord server, has his YouTube channel. And he was going to run an Orbital Blues game. And it started out and I was watching it, kind of taking it in. And then in the comments, I scrolled down. I was like, "Oh, it's too bad you didn't lean into." I can't remember the mechanic name. And when I read that, I was like, this isn't going to give me the full thing, like the full experience of that game, right? It's kind of like running, I don't know, Call of Cthulhu. Oh, it's too bad you didn't have anybody go insane, because then that's kind of at the core mechanic of the game, right? I don't know. So we'll see. No knock on Doug. All right, like when you do and it was probably the first time anybody played it or he ran it. I think it was one of those situations. So it happens. Roadside Picnic, another vote. Gotta get into that thing, I guess. Cold War was the focus of my first How to Historian class. I did think about doing my paper on espionage RPGs. Yeah. Cloak and Dagger kind of thing, right? Smiley. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Some of that stuff isn't overly riveting, though. Slow moving, low action. We're actually doing a lot of spy stuff at Twilight 2000. Interesting. And you know what? Hey, Patrick, good for you for stepping outside the comfort zone a little bit. Trying, I heard you're a GURPS aficionado, and I figured, it's good to see you play other games. It's all good. It is an interesting one to do. So there's and here's the thing. Like, I've played Spycraft. I've owned Spycraft. I've owned Spycraft 2.0, which was a beast, big book. I played Top Secret. It was one of the second or third game I ever played. The cover of the box just was, I'm telling you, like that was the best. That art on the cover of Top Secret, the original box set, and the manual, right? Not probably the best game, but then, like, no offense to some of the folks that appreciate some of those really older games, but they were kind of the first of its kind, so it wasn't like they had like 10 years of maturity and kind of unique, like getting away from the miniature space and, I don't know, descending armor class, THACO stuff. Like, there's just, my humble opinion, if you play it and it's your jam, then great. Like, not here to yuck anybody's yum. Everybody should know that. But I just find that over time, game design and mechanics have evolved, right? Whether you like them or not, they have evolved. And some are good, and there's still ones that are new that are still bad. But I just found, like, what I think what I'm trying to find is you can, like, Harrigan's Run White Lies, I think the actual play is on Gaming and BS's channel, if I'm not mistaken, and it was fun and it's good. And it's very rules light. It was the first edition. They've since come out with a second edition that is much more D20 based, where the first one was much more D6, kind of D&D-ish in its mechanics. And it's like, and you can facilitate a Cold War vibe using many of those games. And I guess if you took like Spycraft and you wanted it, like Spycraft always by default kind of, I pictured like more Mission Impossible-ish, which is fine if that's your jam. Some people say, Mission Impossible is not espionage, dude, which is kind of true. But again, spies, agents, like modern day issues, whatever, covert ops. That's another one, another RPG, covert ops. But I don't know if anything captures Cold War really well. Like the deceit, the trust, the lack of trust. It's not about shooting people. Patrick might be like, dude, you should just use GURPS. Well, that's maybe not a bad idea. Regarding history, I'm doing a fantasy fact thing right now that's very much a reinterpretation of the Anglo-Norman succession after The Death of William Rufus. Okay, well, there you go. Jeff says, yeah, he's following up on my question. Lankmar at the FLGS for kids. Should be interesting. For kids even. Wow, that should be cool. Hello, kitties. Hello, kitties. Espionage. White Lies was fun. That's right. Blake was in on that game. Yeah, baby. Ma Burn. It's an anagram of my real name. Oh, Burn Ma. There you go. All right. Good. Glad you got these set me straight. Today I found a really interesting sounding RPG, Sporangium, a pocket guide to the endless world of Moss. I need my cricket sound effect. No offense, Grumpy. It's a pay-what-you-want itch game that I'm really looking forward to reading. Interesting. Dude, there are so many games, and sometimes I have to admit, man, I will, as positive I want to be, I do have to roll my eyes at some of them. Like, well, I'm not the target audience. Somebody's putting it out there. It is coming from within them, out of their minds, through their hearts, creating into the universe, and somebody will read it and enjoy it, and that's probably not me, but John Caldwell, I'm running a solo Starforged game where the first adventure turned into a murder mystery. Interesting, solving something I didn't pre-write or already know the solution going in. Oh, interesting. Test Track, I was extremely sad recently to hear that Doug at VCG had to shut his Patreon because of all the shit that's happened to him. Uh-oh. I'm not in the know. Uh-oh. Hope he's all right. Hope he's all right. Then Sean must hate troubleshooters and, of course, Belgium. Well, hey, Scott is he can read between the lines. He knows. He knows. He's got me pegged. Reading it, good to see you. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, we're probably at maximum capacity. I think the record for likes within the first hour of this stream is like 40. I think I'm up to 40. So if we break 40, there you go. Thank you everybody for joining, and yeah, thanks for prompting that reading aid. I appreciate it, especially when it comes from the chat. Patrick said, I'm running the Twilight 2000 setting in GURPS, Sean. Of course you are. Of course you are. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I should have just skipped right over that, right? As far as I know, wow, Patrick's running Twilight 2000 second edition, or fourth I think is the recent. Dexians, the hoop loop mechanic in Electric State looks like it's one of those systems where if you have good role players, it will be really rewarding. I may try to get into an Electric State game at GameholeCon this year. Craig Brown is fantastic. If you ever get Craig Brown on the roster for a YZE game, he's a great game master. I know he's local here to Wisconsin. I don't know how far he goes out, but if you're coming to GameholeCon, just wait till I get into my game before you take my seat. That's all I'm asking. Dave Conkle, this guy. How you doing, buddy? Wow, look at this guy. Out of nowhere. I know Dave for quite some time. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Which edition of Twilight 2000 is people's favorite? Well, mine is the most recent, but I'm biased because I didn't play the original. So, the question of the day is I should probably just put it out there. We're just hanging. I don't have anything specific. We could deviate from here, but I'm just hanging. Right now, I just kind of asked what people were reading, and it's gone into, long lists of things people are jamming on. Not necessarily that. So it's what are you reading kind of currently that's RPG related, and it doesn't have to be even specific to RPG, but maybe you're reading it for inspiration to run or play an RPG, right? And people are all over the place. Like there's RPG books, rule books, scenarios. their history books they're talking about. So Run It in GURPS is my favorite. That does not surprise me. Marjorie says Pat's Twilight 2000 is epic. Pat's Twilight 2000 is epic. I don't normally care that much about games I am not playing, but I like hearing about this. Roadside Panic is a 1972 Russian science fiction book, basis of Stalker films and Stalker computer games, or Stalker. Interesting. Okay. Russian and books. So how depressing is it? I could say that because I'm married to one. So there you go. There you go. A little tidbit. A little Tolstoy. It's a little sprinkle of Tolstoy in there. Free League versions of Twilight 2000 is far too abstracted and CRPG style gamified to allow for sufficient immersion for my players and myself. Yeah. We all play for a particular reason. No wrong or right answers. Dave, you catching all these? Thanks for the insight and answers, folks. Play the Secret Agent Man song. Yeah, for sure. RPG Gen Exile, good morning. We're just bantering. Nothing crazy today. Just bantering, asking what people are reading in general. The Moss game sounds like it's a cozy style RPG. Jake says, I'm not the target audience is a phrase I tell myself a lot when it comes to games and movies these days. Yeah, man. That's it. That is the phrase. I'm not the target audience. Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's the best way to not yuck somebody's yum. You know what? It's not for me. It's not for me. And you know what? That's okay. For espionage games, I like Night's Black Agents. I was thinking about Night's Black Agents and just removing vampires. I don't know. Pelgrim Press in 3-column format. Oh, how I just want to just shred my book. It is man. It's like, my biggest thing just makes me just rage. I wish they had a 2-column, at best, a 2-column format style. I've actually pulled that PDF up in Affinity. What is it? Not Affinity Designer. Is it Designer? Layout? Publisher? Affinity Publisher. And I'm like, can I get this thing into 2 columns? And I'm like, it's going to be way too much work. I enjoy being targeted just in general. There you go. Dexy, and I always forget the thumbs up. I'm that guy. You know what? That's all right. You're here. That's all I can ask for. Anyways, Stefan, I'm off to get ready for rehearsals. Have fun, man. Good luck. Loves seeing nerds. Love and kisses. Thanks, Stefan. And like that, he was gone like the wind, with feathers of his boa slowly making their way onto the floor. Thanks, Dave. Topic. What mechanics have you stolen from a game and why? I gotta grab that. Let me grab that quick. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Well, and since I got you guys here, that's proper English. Since I have you here, I would like to know if you have topic ideas, discussion. We don't have to. Why am I doing that? Since I have a audience, I might as well just truly crowdsource this quick. Any topics you guys would like to talk about? And I'm really sensitive to this stuff. I've brought this up on stream before. There's so many dead horses out there, and I'm trying to be conscious of that. But I still think some of them are worthy of conversation. But I don't want people to be, especially some of you folks, especially. I don't want to pander necessarily, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want anybody to go, oh, Sean's talking about that one topic yet again. that I've heard through 50 other podcasts. And I think it's inevitable because RPGs have been around a while and there's podcasts and streams and social media, and we still have opinions and takes on certain things. I don't know. The Code GM's a good one because I don't think that gets broached very often. I mean, so I appreciate that, Jim, and some of the folks that have said, hey, that would be cool too. Can confirm about Craig for the Electric State. Sorry, Sean. It was a great group of role players and a great game in general. Well, there we go. Shambot, thanks, buddy. You know, so he's the guy who took my spot last year. Much appreciated, pal. Dave says, as for what I'm reading, I'm going through a bunch of game books. I'm thinking about writing a few more. Dave, where are you? I only asked Dave where he is because he was living in China for a while. Thinking about writing a few more. Very cool. A lot of reading is for inspiration, but I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos for inspiration. What channels are you looking at, Lucas? Drop a few channels. Hook. He's married to a book. Boy, welcome, Hook. Good first time I am seeing. Maybe long time lurker, first time chat dropper. Thanks for coming. Geez, warn us next time to do a zoom in. No, that's the beauty of it. Read a bunch of Pushkin and Chekhov. Enjoyed it, but yeah, a bit of depressing. Oof, they're heavy reads, man. All RPGs should come in EPUB. That's the topic. That's Mauburn. Mauburn's like, I have something to say. All RPGs should be EPUBs. Thank you very much. Who was that guy? Curtis. Wow, getting all kinds of folks I don't see very often. Hey, good to see you, Curtis. Yep, not everything is made for me, and that's fine. Where would I put it anyway? Yeah, true indeed. Jim's trying to pull stuff out of my brain. Thanks, Jim. I second that. Emotion. Malburn. Says Patrick. Okay. Reading aid says about to start reading Gardens of the Moon because I'm a masochist. All right. Sweet. We know a little bit more about reading aid. Also, my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. I forgot. I'm also reading Chromatic Shadows, an occult cyberpunk game. 46 watching. That's a lot. That's a lot. 7 thumbs up. Those rookie numbers, guys. We got to pump those numbers up. Thanks, Dexian. We got a good crowd today. If this is your kind of first time here, usually I don't use it's not usually a free for all. Sometimes it turns into a free for all, but usually I've got a topic. And this week is just we're just shooting the proverbial shit, right? Jeff Watkins says, not my thing. I never thought an RPG about a retirement home would ever make it to my table. But last week I ran 4 one-shots of Green Oaks. It was epic and will make a return. That is crazy. So if you guys aren't familiar with Green Oaks, it came across my radar, and I think Jeff, you might have been in that chat when I brought it up, and Jeff was like, I'm running that game, or he's running. It's like, what? So Green Oaks, it is like the cover of Green Oaks, the role-playing game, looks like a retirement home brochure. It's like, a couple geriatrics on the cover, and I imagine it's like much like probably Tales from the Loop, but on the opposite end of life. I imagine it still can be quite a riot, I'm sure. Not to be confused with Quiet Riot. Okay, just saying. Rest in peace, Kevin DeBro. Games you want to love but fail. I'll put that down. That's a topic discussion from Lucas, and I'll probably not. I'll see if I can. Lucas from Nebraska. Topic: what is the best non-D&D introductory RPG for players? All right, test Trek. I will share something. It's kind of a friend of mine, a former colleague of mine. So wherever I go and work, I kind of give people the kind of, they don't chuckle. I think they're kind of like, huh. So when I get to know them, they'll somehow, I mean, just to give you some context, I work in corporate America, go figure. And one of the things, like I have to use LinkedIn as part of my job kind of day to day. And on my LinkedIn tagline, I have Game Master or tabletop role-playing gamer. I fly the nerd flag pretty out in the open and, without any shame whatsoever. Hey, thanks so much. My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the gifted membership. Thank you very much. And I usually bring it up and people are like, oh, and I also work with a lot of technical professionals. So, there's a few people in tech that have played role-playing games. So it's a topic of discussion. Anyways, long story short, a former colleague of mine about 2 employers ago, like called me yesterday, Friday, would have been yesterday. Or was it Thursday? Get my days mixed up. It's that age piece. And I'm like, that's weird. So I go, hey, how's it going? And he says, hey, Sean, I might have to recruit you. I'm thinking like he's calling me for a job opportunity because we used to work in agency staffing world. And I don't talk to this person very often. Like it's not often at all, really. Kind of just really professional relationship for the most part, but getting along. And he said, yeah, my little boy just got into D&D. And I was like, oh my God. And he called me. He's like, I had to call and let you know. Because he comes from he specifically is like, he's a hockey guy, right? He's a big hockey player. And has played hockey, and I think he plays like in leagues around the area kind of as an adult. And then he has his kids in hockey. So I say that only because there's a lot of parents that I know that have kids that do soccer and football and basketball and wrestling and track and everything. And they have to cart their kids around all these events. And some of them don't get into RPGs for whatever reason. Maybe there's still that kind of weird stigma in the schools and kids. Maybe, I don't know if nerddom has been overly triumphant in a lot of circles, and that's okay. But he was just blown. He's just like, yeah, I had to, we got him the starter set because he wanted the starter set. And as a friend, I think a friend got him into D&D. Shocker, right? And I said, oh, man, that is so fantastic. Thanks for calling and letting me know. I really appreciate it. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know anything about it, right? And so one of the things I'm going to do probably on this channel, which probably won't, cater to you guys, right? You're not the target audience, but it may be just like your child found role-playing games. Here's what to know. Because I was telling him, I said, he's like, the rule book's like kind of thick. There's a lot to it and I'm not quite sure what to do and all this. And I said, well, there's lots of RPGs out there. There's like Mouse Ritter, where you play a little mouse and it's very, there's some very tactile elements like to the character sheet, dropping equipment into boxes. And, I think his son is probably around 11 years old. So he's not like very young where you could just sit down maybe with like a 2 or 4 year old and go, oh, I know dad plays or mom plays role-playing games. I want to play. And you could just kind of like, okay, just roll this thing. And no matter what comes up, you can just narrate whatever it is because they don't know how to count numbers on a die yet or anything like that. Very off the cuff. They don't care. Their attention span may be a little bit less at those ages, right? But I told him, I said, look, man, if you really want to know and get into like, if you're interested in getting involved and, if he's wanting to run games for the family or you want to know more about it and what's behind it, what he's getting into, I'm more than happy to like run a 2-hour session with, you, other parents, you and your son and other kids and parents. And that's fine. Something pretty rudimentary. And cause I told him at 11 years old, it's like, you're not jaded enough like we are. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's not what the rule says, right? They're sometimes at 11 years old, they may not even be playing by half the rules that are even in a book, right? It's like They've absorbed it. I know we didn't. So it's like, don't, and he was getting caught up with like, do I have to remember all this? How do I do this? And like, you would be surprised at how easy it is to just imagine something in your brain, draw a 5-room dungeon, put a chest in there, make it locked. Anytime you're wondering if they can accomplish something, you have them roll a couple dice, and then you just see what happens, right? Play to see what happens. So I was just over the moon. I thought that was pretty awesome. Anyways, why it's not okay to throw dice at players, Lucas says, is another topic. I don't know why I brought that up. I think it was just here's a topic and a thing that I want to do. And not only that, but I want to kind of do potentially a series, because I don't know if, here's the rub though, right? I don't have kids. So it's going to be a lot of us. Okay, let me get this straight. This dude's doing a series on how to, on kids in role-playing games, and he doesn't have any experience of parenthood, if you will. So we'll see. I have to, put my mind into a place where if I had children, how would that look, and what would I want to know, and what is it about, So anyways, I just wanted to share that. There you go. Listening while on the road. Hey, Ruin Slinger, good to see you. Thanks. Yeah. Well, hopefully I can keep you entertained and talking long enough where there isn't any dead air, if you will. Patrick says, topic, should players do prep before a session, and what would prep consist of? I like that. I'll take it down, man. Thank you for the topic suggestion. There we go. Thanks, Patrick. Topic, ever ran a series with a controversial theme? Gender equality, environmentalism, monarchy versus capitalism, freedom versus oppression. Dude, Blake, this leads into keep politics out of my game, and then everybody says you can't, right? Like, doesn't every game have those things, right? Like, you can't not be political in an RPG. Mauburn, LOL, you were talking about the 3-column layout, not an issue if RPG should be EPUB. Yes, true. And I can read them on my Kindle. You can get PDF, right? Read it on a reading device. How about a 3-column format on a Kindle? Ugh. Dave, is this overdone? How much homebrew is too much? Using basic D&D and then Gamma World hit points, Rune Quest, leveling, etc. I don't know if it's been overdone. I don't know. Maybe. If you have to ask, maybe it hasn't been. How much is too much? I don't know. Reading Imperium Metadictum and Chromatic Shadows, Runeslinger says, as he's driving? What did I say that? You were driving? Listening while on the road. I'm guessing you're passenger. Runeslinger. But then in Korea, I don't know. Maybe they got self-driving cars. Gifted a membership by Ear Trumpet has been struck by lightning. There you go, Roger. Congratulations. Thanks again, my Ear Trumpet. It's for where I am. I'm doxing this guy. I'm currently in northern Wisconsin. Hey-o. Above the pine curtain. You better stop by and say hi to Brett. The shark fin into Lake Superior. Oh, you are in northern Wisconsin. Sorry. True north. But to this date, I have been in over 30 countries. Yeah, I got internet up there. Starlink. Oh, God. Please help me. Mike says, how many skills in a game is too many? What is a good number of skills for a game? Do not tell me it depends. Oh, shots fired. I feel targeted. I'm writing a game and wrestling with skills now. I think I'll take it down. My overall take is if you question what skill to use, you have too many. I guess that what is it to notice, spot, be alerted to, search? If those are all separate and you were wondering how to differentiate one from the other, then I would say you have too many skills. That's just me not giving it more than 5 minutes of thought. I'm enjoying whatever comes up subject today, Jason says. Thanks, Jason, for the feedback. Much appreciated. Tech people in RPGs? Gasp. I know, right? It's crazy. Light topics. What's a rule or mechanic you've modified for the better? Name a monster that is criminally underused by Orcus Dorcas. RPG shenanigans. I think that's a little racist, by the way, using shenanigans. The Irish Representation League would like to have a word with you, Mr. Dorcas. My wife uses shenanigans. I'm like, hey, better be in a good context. Runeslinger, I am. Driver, passenger. Topic, favorite prep tools. Okay, I got it. I'm taking it down, Jeff. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to wrap this up in like 2 seconds because I'm way behind and it went way over. So, and I know people want to get on with their day, so I'm going to try to scream through these quick. I've got Dungeon Master and Tabletop Gamer written on my resume amongst some other geeky stuff. It's surprising how many people say stuff about it when they see it. Yeah, I love it. One of the creators of JavaScript turned me on to Eat the Reich at work. Interesting. Cool. Weekly Scroll, Red Mage GM, Gaming Harry. These are the YouTube channels, Lucas. I asked probably 5 minutes ago, and it's just me getting to this point. Elder Goblin Games, Mystic Arts, DM, Esper the Bard, and some RPG Sean. Hey, but I don't know, but he is funny and has great hair. Hey, thanks, buddy. Dire Badger could use more love. Marjorie chimes in. Orcus, Dennis Detwiller topics. Agency, loss, and horror. Railroading is a myth. Oof, that's a deep. Take it down. Yeah. Hell yeah, kid who likes hockey and TTRPGs. Prop. Basic rules of Chromatic Shadows is for free on drive-thru, just for those that don't know. Flint Fireforge, good to see you. Better late than never. Half my players are tech or people or engineers. The other half are theater kids. Yeah, they're all over the place. Talked a lot on the Discord server about running games for coworkers. I've also had some who haven't played ask me questions because their kids or other relatives are interested in the hobby. Yeah, I think it's underserved. Yes. So they go to the gamer that they know, right? Like, hey, what's this about? Hey, what are you doing? The ambassador to the game, and thank you. Get them the starter set. They have it, but still, it's kind of like, and I told them, like, it could be a little overwhelming, and some of those rules you might not even need, depending, on the level, like the age and the children. It's for the children. I've given out lots of sets of dice. I've avoided pushing games on new gamers, but only encouraging the very thing they have first discovered. Yeah, that's another thing too. Topic, how do we become or be good ambassadors for the hobby? Well, just to nip that really quick in the bud, the best one single thing we can do to be better ambassadors to the hobby is to not shit on other people's stuff. Number one. That is the number one thing. If it's not something you agree with, voice it in a constructive manner. If it's something like your game is the best and all the others suck, you don't say it. You say it in a way that says like, hey, glad you enjoy the game. Not my jam. It's very simple. The biggest thing is just being that guy, I will say, that guy that just shits on people. And that irks the piss out of me. Really, really, really does. You can have your favorite game in the world, and that's okay. It's fantastic. But man, yucking other people's yum. And I can be guilty of that. That's why I need guys and women like you to keep me in check. We slide. It happens. We have opinions. It's okay to have opinions. But there's a difference between having an opinion on and then shitting all over somebody's stuff. It's just, that is the number one, Mike. Good topic. Got to bring myself down a little bit. Sorry. Sorry. I know you didn't mean anything by it. Just, man. Okay, there we go. Anyways, Lucas, topic: how to introduce children to RPGs and the best starters. Yeah, I'll take that down. I'm going to be a little outside my comfort zone on some of those. All right. I got to get going. I'm going to scroll down here where I'm going to apologize. We can talk later. Don't want to Bogart. Okay, how many steals? 12. Blake says 12. 12 is the magic number. Screw skills, unless it's GURPS. There you go. I don't know. Will says 15. Got feedback. Everybody's like taking it in. All right. My opinion is vanilla Coke is better than liquid death. Fair. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Also, we have to also be aware that it's okay to, like, that somebody doesn't like our game. That's another thing. All right. See you guys. Let me get into some quick stuff. Let's knock out some things quick. I know some of you guys are going to be bouncing. If you got to bounce, hit the like or dislike button before on the way out. First thing, RPG. Well, let's back it up. Let's rewind. Let's do RPG. All right. RPG news. Boom. Pendragon. Game Master's Handbook opens for pre-orders on March 26th. This could be print news, but it's not in print yet. And it's not a crowdfunding campaign, so here it is. If you're a Pendragon person, news flash, this is coming March 26th if you want to grab it. Get the PDF immediately upon pre-order. So I think it's already ready. It's just got to get done printing. It would be my guess. So there you go. Next thing. Let's see. Indie Groundbreakers. Oh, I should probably put this link in the chat. Oops, and I just launched my Discord app. Great. Well. Indie Groundbreakers Awards, which are really small, probably on your screen. Submissions are now closed. 2024. You can see the award categories: most innovative, best art, best rules, best setting, game of the year. Eligibility details, and then the winners and prizes and runners-up and games of the year, and then of course the list of 2024 nominees. So game of the year, some of the ones: Doom Song, Triangle Agency, His Majesty the Worm, Last Train to Bremen, Revolt. So I wasn't aware of Last Train to Bremen and Revolt, I don't think. So I like reading these because it's like, oh, interesting. I even heard about that game before, and I check it out, see if it's for me. And that way some other folks that are talking about it, I'm not lost in, coming out of the dark. Most innovative, Psychic Trash Detectives, Bettin' Bullets, Oh Captain, Last Train to Bremen, and The Score. I don't know how many of you are playing some of these. Best rules, Revolt. For small creatures such as we, His Majesty the Worm, Last Train to Bremen, Our Woodland Gods. Best art, Mask Witches of Forgotten Doggerland, May You Fish in Interesting Times, Revolt, again, Doom Song, Forgery. And lots of different names being recognized. Best setting, Burger Punk, Viva la Queer Bar, Letters to Sandra, Substratum Protocol, and Gutter Punk. There's a lot of games here. I'm like, oh man, I have not heard of these. Best design, Deadly Weapons, Corpborg, Motel Spooky 9, No-Tell Motel, Triangle Agency, and that's it. Then you can find previous winners. So congratulations to all of those nominees. If you are interested, check out that list, check out those games. See if anything piques your interest and curiosity, if you will. If you will. First, next up, let's get into bundles. Bundles, got a couple. First one I got in on. What can I say? Delta Green. Yeah, baby. There's a few things in here I didn't have, which is like the tabletop stuff, the virtual tabletop. So a lot of, if you're Delta Green or not wanting to get into Delta Green, they've had a few bundles in the past. This is a big one. It's got some fiction in here as well. And then, of course, the Roll20 and Foundry modules or supplements that you can get for those platforms. And those I didn't have. And I don't know if I had all of the novels, so I'll devour those. And I have most of the other stuff because I even have the King in Yellow, which is new, by the way. That came from the annotated King in Yellow came from the Conspiracy Kickstarter. crowdfunding campaign. So if you have not checked into this, there may be something you want to grab there. Yeah, like Reading Aid says, it's got everything for Delta Green, essentially. Yeah, indeed. Next up, quick, doop-a-doo. Next one is something I also got in. Dragonlance book bundle, like many of the Dragonlance novels. Now, for some of us, they were kind of an integral part of us growing up during that age and read them and devoured them. Some of us didn't. And some of us reread them later in life and were like, yeah, I don't know if it aged it very well for me. Guilty. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to buy all these because I definitely don't have them on my shelf anymore. And maybe someday, I don't know, I'll kick them open and, crank through them. So thought I'd let you guys know about that one. Let's see. Next one, moving along. Let's get into print news, shall we? Print news. Coming from Ian World. Go over to Ian World. Click on all their ads. Thanks, Ian World. Oh, and I forgot to put all the links in all these. Let me just put in the Humble Bundle, which you could probably find once you go there. Gabe says, I'm still reading Dragonlance, which is a little bit surprising to me because Gabe's a Tolkien fan. And I know the styles are way different. So that's pretty cool, man. Print news, Echoes of Doom by Mana Project Studios out in print. That's for the new 2024 edition of D&D. Why keep calling D&D 2024? It's too wordy. The new D&D, I guess, new D&D. Next one, Jer's Home by Electric Studio, which is for Mutant Crawl Classics. The Fairy Odd Tale, the next one by Per Aspera Games for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It looks like a module by Jonathan Sullivan. Terror of the Stratus Fiend, Cycle of the Snake Wolf 3, Scales of Hypervisor God. Oh my God. By Orbital Intelligence, that's for DCC. Man, DCC. Lots of stuff in the last couple weeks coming to print. Wraithlands by Bone Charter, Rules Light Unique, hardcover setting. PCs are wraiths, cursed or blessed by the Misty Heart to die and be reborn in violation of Underkirk law. The next one, Tea Time Adventures, Tales from Oakenben, Tea Pets, Crafts and Journals book by Snowbright Studio. I feel compelled when I talk about this particular game to lighten up my tone just a little bit, given the aesthetics and the subject matter of these tabletop role-playing games. $24.99 each, US. And last, the Deck of Strange Things, Polyset Ectoplasm with Gold Dice, System Old School Essentials, and the Painted Wastelands. I don't think the dice are associated with either one. They glow in the dark, though, or under black light. But they look fairly readable. A qualifier for dice that I have to have. All right, next up, let's see. Let's get into crowdfunding. Last segment, folks, and then I'll let you get on with your Saturday. So much. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. To the end. You all get bonus XP if you make it to the end. Lots of XP. You'll level up today. I'm just saying, you will. If those left early, good luck. RPG crowdfunding news from... Now, this is usually in the end days of the campaign, but the first one is Shadowdark RPG. I think it's still like got 20 days left, right? It ends April 9th. Well, maybe not. 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks? Shadowdark, if you're living under a rock. I did not know this. I think Shadowdark, the Western Reaches setting, obviously hit 1.6 million. I think it was the first $1 million crowdfunding for 2025, but it is not the only crowdfunding campaign to hit 1 million. So Monty Cook had one, right, that hit 1 million, like at the last minute, they went over 1 million. And then there was another one, it escapes my memory at the moment, that also hit, maybe we'll hit it here, that also hit 1 million. So this would be in the last month and a half, we've had 3 $1 million Kickstarters in 2025. And I think the most in a year has been 12. And that was back in 2021. That also can be found on Ian World. Anyways, Castle Zagigig. It's Castle Zagigig. Galleries of the Archmage. Sean, it's Zagig. Zagig. Zagigig. That's the name of it. If you guys aren't pronouncing it right, just so you know, it's Castle Zagigig. You hear the enunciation there? Hear the difference? Castles and Crusades, folks at Troll Lord Games. They're whooping it up down in Garrycon as we speak. Next one, Zamanora, Ballad of the Witch from Iran Chronicles, 5th edition, Legend in the Mist RPG supplement. 206,000. Not something to laugh at. That's good money. Euros, 2,000 euros. Professor Prumula's portfolio of paleontology from Paleo Games. D&D 5th edition, 2014 and 2020. That's like now they're noting it. I don't understand. 172,000 quid. Next one, Secrets of Magic. 5th edition, 2020-24, Fate Forge, 98K, funded. Bramble Trek, Tales in the 100-Acre Woods. Right? It's Winnie the Pooh, folks. Pooh. It's a Pooh game. I don't get any poo on you. Solo or GMless RPG. Rules for group play as well. Designed for journaling, you encounter the characters of the woods, solving the problems and healing their wounds. Maybe even fighting some poo. Enemies of the Night by Night Studios. A backer kit. Mind's Eye Theater is the system. Offers 2 books for the Vampire the Masquerade life action role play, LARP. So it's not traditional TTRPG, but most widely known LARP. There you go. There you go. Booyah, Grandpa. Link in the chat. Don't do it, Sean. Resist. Don't do it. Yes, the Magnus Archives Tangled Web Across the 1 Million was pretty cool. Pretty cool. There you go. Don't do it, Sean. Resist. What am I resisting? Thanks for the stream conversation. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. You too, Patrick. Appreciate it. All right, let's get these credits and you guys get going. Not too bad over. Usually I'm 5-6 minutes over. Now we're a little 12. So I want to thank everybody here for being a supporter of the show. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Either as a Patreon or YouTube supporter here. Thank you so much. Thanks for the gifted sub earlier, the super chat, Patrick. Much appreciated. And more importantly, or as importantly, thank you for showing up today to keep us all company and chiming in on everything that's all this topic suggestions and what you're reading, and hope some maybe people take it away. Like, I got to go check out the road trip, apparently. That sounds great. So I got a Castles and Crusade game. My Coriolis game got canceled this week. A little bummed, but that's okay. Again, due to monkey down with the sickness. So hopefully in a couple weeks that'll be going again. Hope everybody go play some games. Spend some time with people you appreciate. Don't spend time with people that bring you down. Take a break if you need to. Gaming's not going anywhere. And you remember, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week, 8 a.m. Central Time, right here. Talk to you later. Sa. Is anybody still there? Anyone? Go home. Go play some games. Go home. What are you doing? Get out of here. We're going to get a blooper reel. I'll tell you the blooper. I got your blooper reel right here, buddy. I hit my pedal. That's why it came up. And then somebody hit that on the chat. I was like, thought it was funny. Anyways. So everybody bolted except for a few. Hanging out, right? It's encore. The lights have gone down. Nobody's coming back out. Everybody's left. Lights in the theater come on. And then the band comes out, right? Hey, everybody. You guys. You know, sometimes just freestyling. It's always, you know. It is called the Saturday Hang. Yeah, today is for sure. Next week we'll do one of those topics. I think co-GMing is something that probably warrants some conversation just to see who has done it, if they would do it, you know, some of the concepts around that. I'm interested to, hear some of that. I got some time to burn. Yes, I should be gaming, but my game's not till like noon today. Central Time, the only official time of the world. Pretty soon nobody's going to be here. I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself and not know that everybody's gone. Kid's friend, what to co-DM with me to learn? That's a good one. Ending the show is a way to it seems like I don't want people to feel compelled to hang out, and I know they won't. They could do the Irish goodbye, but this is the hidden track. Right? Wait 10 minutes. The most kick-ass song of the album comes on. It's not that. I won't say that it's that. The B-side stream. Indeed. Yeah. Deep cut. Yeah, for sure. Man, it is so, I tell you, man, it's, Saturday mornings, man, I just love coming on here and just seeing everybody and shooting the shit. I want to roll 20 koozie. I got this, I got one of those weird bags. I knew Matt McElroy, who's local and works for One Bookshelf, and he just saw me at GameholeCon and gave me, and this was like the one thing. This and a plushy D20. That was probably the coolest out of the bag of goodies, if you will. It's the only koozie I have. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, where we are known to consume a beer or two, and it's the only koozie I have in the entire house. Oh, that's not true. It's the only koozie I have. My wife has a couple that she uses for she drinks bottled water and puts the bottled water in them. But that's the only koozie I like. Actually, I think I had a Dark Trails koozie. I have to figure where that is. Maybe I have two. I don't know about it. I'm not joking. It's a really great way to start the weekend. Thanks, Grumpy. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's some folks are newer, right? Newer, because I've been doing this for since Gaming in BS was around. So we sunset that podcast in 2023, 2022. I don't even remember what year it was. And I had started before the end of that show and just getting on Saturday mornings. And, maybe 5 or 10 people would show up. And I just felt like Saturday mornings, at least if you're U.S. time, it's really before anything happens. And it's the weekend. I don't have, my honey-do list for the day isn't going to start. I don't have any, usually obligations aren't that early on a Saturday. And if people are willing to roll out of bed, cool. Grab a cup of coffee and sit around and listen to me banter and interact. It's fantastic. If I did this at 7 p.m., I don't know how successful it would be, right? Like competing with, you know what? I'll stream an AP, an actual play, Thursday nights at like 8 o'clock Central Time when Critical Role's on, right? Like, do you need a koozie? It's always minus 32 outside. Well, yeah, true. You got to drink it fast enough. That's the thing. If it gets warm, then you're not drinking it fast enough, even if it's outside a koozie, at least in Wisconsin. Good time to chill and talk about games before the busy part of the day gets going. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Who says I'm out of bed? Who says I'm out of bed? Yeah. I don't know where anybody is. Like, they could be very, I'm in bed, more drunk at 7 p.m. Whoa, that could be a whole thing too, right? Like Silene. Yeah. Coffee, breakfast. And it's a weird one because I've had some people like, whoa, can we get an audio version? And I don't know if it's conducive to audio. Like, it's the weird. Some people would, I probably wouldn't take much to do it, just an audio version, but I don't know. Though Laramie has a few sometimes, yeah. So for those of you that don't know Laramie, who was here earlier, Laramie works like third shift. So when I start streaming, he's getting on with work, like it's happy hour for him. So for him to have a beer at like 8 a.m. Central Time, it's relative, right? Time is relative. Just ask Einstein. Yeah. I should start a stream just like for, patrons and stuff. Do a addition and members. Anyways. Yeah, did it when I was third shift for sure. It's a weird, my mom worked third shift for ages. Like, it throws your clock off. I can imagine, just strange. Like, even my uncle, who was a police officer, I remember, because I lived with my aunt and uncle and my cousins for a little while, and it'd be a day off from school, and my uncle would be sleeping, and it was like, you guys got to keep it down. Your uncle's sleeping, and it's like a weird. Otherwise, if we were in school and he would be home sleeping, it wasn't a big deal, right? And then he'd get up to work, go off on the night shift. It'd be tough. God, yeah. I'd walk home, hit the bakery for some croissants, and the convenience store for a 6-pack, and there you go. Did it in college. I could never use it all. I'd still feel like I was up all night, even though I slept during the day. Yeah, it's got to just take a real weird toll on your body. My wife, though, she's like completely flipped, right? She's like that. She could literally get up at like noon, stay up until like 2 a.m. consistently. Like, if that was her clock, she would be fine with it. I'm like, sleep study, like being a sleep technician. Like, she would be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, go to work at like 6 p.m. No problem. I worked a security job and worked all 3 shifts over the course of a week. It was awful on my body. Yeah, it's rough. That's why I got out of the military, Brandon. Brandon's military, old military, retired military. That's how I got out of the military, man. Looking at E7s, they looked like they were like, I don't even know if they were 40. They were like 37, had 17 years in, got in right out of high school. Looked like they were 60 years old. I'm like, I cannot be fueled by coffee and cigarettes. And, have my back like all busted and these weird ailments at 45. Oh, it's so rough. Now, that's Army, not Air Force. So Air Force, you get the luxury of, the nice chairs, and they recline and they're cushy. Well, that's good. That's good. Third shift time loop is a real humdinger. It's hard to relate to people not on that shift. Yeah. In the Army, we did 24 on and 8 off. That really screwed up our schedules. Malburn, you're a veteran. Thanks for serving, man. What'd you do in the Army? And how long did you serve? Lower ASVAB scores. Yeah, whatever. GT scores, right? That we have GT scores from the ASVAB. I was in a unit. So the MOS I was in, the kind of sister MOS with all the other people that were in my section, I was told had the lowest GT scores in the military. 7 years, but Army National Guard and a lot of MOS is deployed. 11 Bravo, but with signal mostly. 11 Bravo, yeah. Infantry, yeah, that's good. The 24 on, 8 off was in Iraq. Oh, for sure, when you're deployed, yeah. I didn't get to the sandbox, and I was active duty. Kind of weird. So I roomed with a signals guy while deployed. Signals, right? Those guys. Oh, the military. That's another video I want to do too. It's like running military-based games because it's kind of weird, as we know, how does that work with a rank structure? I roomed with my wife. What? Seriously? Did you marry another veteran? Or were you? Yeah. I was the Air Force equivalent to signals. Yeah, there you go. I think it's just like the three of us here. We lived in the CHU together. She was a weapons mechanic. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, there's Patrick. He's still here. I was 97 Bravo, then a Army, and then a DOD civilian. That's MI, right, Patrick? I think Scott mentioned that. Balkans, a lot of Iraq. Yeah, I missed Kosovo. I missed it by a month. Like literally, I came back to the States, PCS, and my buddies right after that ended up going to Kosovo. I don't know. I don't even know how long they were there. They probably weren't even there 6 months. It didn't seem like a long engagement, but I'm not sure. Afghanistan, yeah. I was in the Balkans too, not during the heyday though. You did Bosnia and Kosovo? Yeah, so he served around the same time. You probably went to New Jersey and Dix for training, I'm guessing. Michael Holland, Saudi and Qatar before it was nice here. I didn't know you were Air Force, Michael. Did I not? I did not know that. I don't think I knew that. I think I keep, I keep busting Brandon's chops all the time. Now I need to bust yours. Typically, I think military-based games, the players have to broadly be okay with a little less agency, but here are some ways you can introduce it back in the game. Also, former Army, 35 November. Oh, thanks for serving, Grumpy. 35 November. What is that? Help me out. I can't remember what that is. Columbia too. Wow, yeah, all kinds of places for psyops with Patrick. Oh, we're still in Kosovo? Oof. So I'm filming the pilot of The Walking Dead and going through 25 Bravo school, though. Had no idea what it was at the time. None of us do. Uh-oh. What's this guy doing? What's this guy? Brett, what the hell are you doing here? Have you been here the whole time, you son of a bitch? I tried to run a military game with a chain of command. My buddy Nick, retired Army, had a hard time watching the rest of the group not fucking get how it worked. It was kind of funny. Well, that's like Twilight 2000 has civilians in it. And it's kind of like when shit hits the storm, shit falls apart, so it's not. The rank structure kind of gets blown apart because, the military is kind of in disarray. Grumpy did Afghanistan, Somalia. Oof, that's tough. I got to say, I was pretty fortunate. I didn't see a lot of... I kicked it in Germany the first time. Nothing was really going on. And then Germany the second time. Missed Bosnia and Kosovo and came to the U.S. And I don't think anything was really going on at that time. I mean, there was, but there wasn't anything about deployment. The desert seemed to come to a tranquil end kind of. This was before we went in full force in Afghanistan, so I don't mention it often. 9 years, dude. Yeah, you and Brandon. Eileen's still here. Okay. Signals intel. Okay. Got it. One of the things I try to do in my T2K campaign is set it up so the players don't need to feel they needed to get it right to play a soldier. Yeah, you got to just position it correctly. Although I do want to run a War Stories game for veterans. I would like to do it for charity and then donate the money. Eric Salzwedel on our Discord server is a Navy submariner, and he turned me on to a charity that's, I think, based in Wisconsin, where it's a charity for children of veterans that have been lost, like in service, I think. And I say in service, they could have been, they might have died outside of service, but still be veterans. And so they help those kids, which I like, come on, for the kids, right? Yeah, soldiers are people too, for sure. It's such a weird world. Like it's hard to explain. That's why it's such a fraternity. Why is my mouse like skipping around now? I can't like stop. I don't know about y'all, but military games are hard for me to play or run. I was exactly special forces, but knowing so much more than the other players, it's hard to juggle. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. That's why I'm like, how does that mix go, right? 35N is yesterday's 98 Golf. Nah. 98 Golf seems more familiar to me than 35 November. I could be wrong. Oh, Michael, now you do like civilian contract stuff. That's cool. Go ahead and lucky Brandon and leave too often. Yeah. I find it funny playing with a bunch of academics and no one has the thought to take cover. Just stand right out in front of bullets flying. Dude, it's a different world. Found that Delta Green was a better chain of command type as it kind of it doesn't matter what your day job MOS is. You're there for the night at the opera. Yeah. I've got a VP where I'm Brett told me about this, contracted at right now, and he's 20 plus years Army and doesn't understand his approach doesn't work for civilians. I'm surprised. Like I've had, let me say, challenges with like, oh, you're a veteran. How are you going to fit into this civilian corporate leadership position? Well, we can lead. We've done leadership. We've done logistics. It's just so different, though. Patrick says I did in T2K by having the PC group start as activated MI, National Guard, integrated to FID to start. So they made people with civilian lives, and then the Army skills were ancillary. Okay. Yeah, it's a way to do it, right? Brandon, I'm the civilian whisperer. Get to effing work doesn't work in the civilian world. Huh, that's weird. Yeah. Ugh. It's going to be crazy. They're talking about what I read the other day. We're getting out of they're consolidating the command in Europe. Like it's the first I know what it was. It was the general. They're removing the 4-star general as the commander of NATO forces for the first time since World War II. Wow. Like, whatever. I don't want to get into that stuff, but this is where I'm talking military. It is so hard playing military-esque games with non-military as a veteran. One small thing I've noticed is that veterans are much more willing to retreat from in-game combat than non-vets. Yeah. Yeah. It's a change. Well, and I think like with many games, right? It's not for everybody, and I think a military game is pretty unique. Some people will understand. Like, like in war stories, you could play a French civilian, right? Kind of a resistance person. That's. But it's even war stories is kind of an interesting game because I don't want to play a war game, right? There's plenty of cool war games, bolt action, some of those great, like tons of them. It's not what I want to play. I want to play role playing games. So you can't, what's the role playing in a War Stories World War II soldier based game? Well, it's the banter back and forth, right, between the individuals and then what they're trying to do and achieve, and kind of the human struggle with being a soldier. Veterans will understand what that means, but when you're playing, because we all are thrown into, we don't know anybody else around us, but we end up becoming very close because we're all in this, literally like the same, for some of the Navy, literally in the same boat. And we have no other option than to count on each other. And we could even hate each other, but when you're in the trenches, you got to throw that all out the window and cover each other's back. That's a hard thing to grok in a one-shot game. Like it is, you could do it for a home group, but like War Stories running that at GameholeCon, I don't know. It could be because if you're attached to a unit and you get deployed to, Normandy or whatever, and like a European theater specifically in World War II, chances are you've probably known the people you're with for quite some time. Like you probably beat each other up. You've drank to oblivion. It's just a different thing. Strong recommend for the game. Those Cold Mountains is about being a deserter from the Austrian army in World War II. Whoosh. Brett says I think it's more of a gritty fantasy movie approach when you play a military RPG. You try and get too realistic and it's not as much fun from what I've found. Right, true. Like, let's play Private Ryan, the role-playing game. Yikes, right? Patrick says, you nailed it, Sean. That's why I did what I did. I wanted an RPG, a dangerous setting for characters, yes, but being military or war isn't the heart of it. No, I agree. It can't be. It's a thing, right? But it can't be the thing. It's what's going on around you, and you have objectives to probably, you're going into a town. There's a Tiger tank, small contingent of, Nazi forces in the town, and you're tasked with going in there and rooting it out. Interesting, but like what goes on during that mission, right? And if you get some heavy role players, they can bounce that stuff off each other. If you've got some decent prompts, right? Like, get a Dear John letter or Dear Jane letter or whatever, right? Maybe. Never heard of War Stories. I'll have to grab this when I get my stop cast. It's this one. It's by Gia Garcia. It's by Firelock Games, and Firelock Games does miniatures. They made this role-playing game, and it's really well done. It's very similar, I would say. If you've looked at Year Zero Engine, Twilight 2000, the leap isn't too crazy. It's pretty similar, but it's really done. The art is fantastic. It's got a little... let's see what else. So it's got some... I like the vibe and kind of the... and then all the weapons and stuff. So... Year Zero Engine. Been watching to do an insurgency campaign based on the Balkans in World War II. Interesting. Well, and another thing too, you got to jump. All right, see you, Grumpy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. With War Stories too, when it came out, like it came out right before the Ukraine conflict. So a lot of people were like, I'd like to run, a military campaign, but I don't know if the timing is right? Yeah. Yeah, I know IZ pretty well. I've read both SRDs. Yeah. This might be the first physical game I've seen published with YZE. There's a few. Tombs and shoot. I can't remember Tombs and something by why am I spacing on his name? He used to be a supporter of the Gaming EBS, the podcast I was on with Brett, the guy in the chat. Chris's last name was Chris' last name. I think it was Chris. Treasures and Tombs was a YZE game that was Kickstarted. Pretty small indie press thing. Looks neat, but I didn't want war movies. I wanted people in a war-torn world. Yeah, sure. Totally get it. As a matter of fact, one of the things I may do with War Stories is like spin it on its head and make it like a Kelly's Heroes movie, right? There's gold treasure they get wind of, and they're like, what? I'm not just an FL or YZ fan. Totally get that. I get their stuff. It's just too gamified for me or players to immerse. We tried. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Yeah. I just wish YZE games had rules for minis, but I love it. Yeah. Well, Twilight 2000 it kind of gets tactical for an RPG, I would say. But you're right. I don't know. It doesn't really call out miniatures verbatim in those games, which I think is okay, because I don't know if I would like them with miniatures. So you and I would have a problem, Auburn. 2 Wargaming and 2 T2K for my players and me. Yeah, I could see that. Yep. We'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna run it. I had player character. I had done pre-gens one year with the full intention of running them at GameholeCon. I think off grid, and then I just never brought it. We'll see. Looks like they might get that mini rules for the new Alien reissue. Oh, that's true. So you get my class in infantry. Yeah, like D&D. Well, that's true too. Like, I think I know what you're putting down. As much as like teaching the giving a crash course and being a soldier to a bunch of players at a game table. I love Laura gaming and minis, but it's a different pleasure and muscle for me than RPGs. For me too, 100%. I think I bought a bolt action like box, one of the starter boxes. I had Flames of War. Like, I bought the rule book. I don't know, it might have been 3rd edition. I don't even know what they're up to. It was years ago, and a small artillery unit. And I'm like, oh, this would be kind of cool. I could get into this stuff. And then I'm like, I don't know. It might be just you got to put them all in a box, and you got to take them all to a game store, and then you got to, it looks fun as hell. I don't know. All right. See you, Brandon. Yeah, you did have bolt action. We bought that on a bike ride one time. Yeah, up at the game store in Reedsburg, right? Reeves? Was it Reedsville or Reedsburg? I don't remember. But yeah, you're right, Brett. All right. See you, Eileen. Harrison. The update of Alien is adding rules, miniatures, rules, right? Wonder how comparable it would be to other Year Zero games. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I absolutely have zero interest. Like when Modifius started getting into miniatures, I'm like, no. I'm not a big 2D20 guy, but I mean, I've had Star Trek. I don't know, man. There are a lot of miniatures games. Why would I pick one over another? Some of the squad-based stuff might be interesting. Like even like Warhammer's big, but I know you can get smaller scale. God, what was one that was French? Started with a C. It was a long time ago. It wasn't Conflict. Something. Had really cool minis, but like, I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. Warhammer was cool. I would go to the game store and realize that they had a huge Warhammer day, right? Hammer 40K or Fantasy, and I would watch, and I got to know a few people. And they were some were very welcoming, some not so much. And some would say, hey, if you don't have an army, I got like 3, come on down, I'll teach you how to do it. And they had tables, they would connect to each table. And, just the big set pieces were very interesting. My World War II modern mini jam was Command Decision. Interesting. Like there's part of me that would be like, Advanced Squad Leader. I think the latest MYZ game has actual rules for them, but that's the one MYZ game I don't own. Oh, yeah, right. I know what you're talking about, yeah. Kill Squad in 40K is popular with my game crew. So it's like small skirmish-based stuff, like small, like probably less than 50 points, less than, 200 points or something, armies. It's got to be quicker, right? If you ever want to try Warhammer, the guys I game with have nearly everything other than Tau. Interesting. I knew Lenny and Beta are big, or is it Alpha? I get them mixed up. I know they're big Warhammer guys, right? Kill Team, I love that. The armies are more or less pre-made, not point-based. Oh, I did not know that. Okay. Alpha and the boys, yeah. Got it. Yeah. But I don't want to get sucked into it. I don't want to have minis that I haven't painted, for years, and gotta get the army, and they're not cheap. Like, I don't know. I think RPG scratches a different itch for me. Right? Otherwise, it would have been Gaming NBS, the Miniatures RPG podcast. That's where I am now. Minis are like a smack habit. Yeah. So I never got into Magic. Adepticon, yeah. Huge. I have a whole Nid-Kill team set up with all the alts and haven't opened a single box. Oish. Oh, like $300 worth of minis, yeah. It seemed like Auburn seemed like a good idea at the time. Hoo-hoo. And then you get home, put them on the shelf, and be like, I really don't want to crack those open and, clip off the spews and, right? Oh, Tyranids, got it. Nids, Tyranids. I know, yeah, Tyranids. Tyranids, Imperial Army, Space Marines. I'm trying to remember all the factions. Can't remember the other ones. $40K. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. It's gotten quiet all of a sudden. I think I'm going to hang this up, guys, so you guys can go and do something. Brett, good to see you, man. A little late to the party, but hey, it's all right, buddy. Being colorblind throws out the whole minis. Oh, that will do it. That'll do it. But assuming you get a chance, got to get back to work. All right, sounds good, Patrick. I saw you dropped a message. I got a Mac, so all my apps are down below, and I went to put something in the chat, and I launched my Discord, and noticed you dropped me a message. So slept in lazy, yeah, nothing wrong with that. You only need 3 colors, just pick 3, Working game prep, found out last minute a key player is ill, so I'm prepping a last minute one shot. Oh, yeah, good times. 5-room dungeon, man. Like I was telling that guy whose kid just got into D&D, like just 5 rooms, lock a door, keep a door open, see if they can get through the doors, walk into a room, see what they see. Orc and pie. Like you walk into a room and there's an orc eating a pie. 11-year-olds' expectations might be a little lower than some of ours. You can probably put anything in a room, they would eat it up. Have a treasure chest, have it attack them. I'm telling Michael how to do his prep. Hey, easy to 6. I know. Yeah. Mirko, Digital Hobbit in our Discord, is a big easy D6 person. He likes that. He's running for us at GameWorld off grid. I didn't get into it. I thought I saw it for like half price on drive-thru. I'm like, oh, should I pick it up? People are like, oh, it's a great value. I'm like, I don't need another game that I'm never going to play. It's all right. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Late night last night for this guy. Getting up early is always so. Play with DM Scotty twice a year. So blessed. Yeah. No few people that follow DM Scotty. That's good. I'm glad that's a good experience. I've played with designers that design their own game or whatever, and then the illusion gets squashed pretty quickly. I don't know why. I designed the game like this, but I run it like this. Like I came here for like I want if I play like Numenera and I sign up for a game of Numenera run by Monty Cook, I want him to run it like, that should be the de facto standard, right? Not that I'm not saying it was Monty or Numenera, but mostly with the old guard, like playing in a Frank Metzner game, like, oh, we're not actually playing Red Box. Great. Spinning up a tiny D6 Frontiers game. Federation-like setup. Outpost goes dark. PCs go to investigate. Yeah, baby. That's great. Dude, you can pull up a Mothership 3, panel brochure adventure and, like, use that. Speaking of which, Wayne, so some of you guys might know Wayne from the chat in our Discord, Wayne Peacock. He's my game group. He put together a Shadowdark brochure adventure, and I thought it was pretty good. And he's also done some other things, design wise and RPG wise. I'm thinking, you know what? I'd like to put a brochure adventure together. Maybe it's for Shadowdark. I don't know. I just like it because the stat blocks are pretty small, and it could be for any game. Mothership is there's a lot of those for Mothership, and there's a design aesthetic, and there's the challenge of providing enough information in a brochure without getting too wordy, but enough for the GM to convey to players and, and putting it out there for $3 or whatever. I could never see myself doing what Brett did, which was like the Streets of Avalon with encoded designs. Like that's just too much. I couldn't come up with my own setting. I know Brett's been doing it for years, but that's not of an interest to me. I might do something really short and succinct. Like even, oh shoot, what's his name? The gentleman he used to work at Steve Jackson Games. Shoot. I've got in on his Kickstarters. He puts out like a Kickstarter a month or a crowdfunding campaign a month. And they do maybe $5,000 or $4,000. And he, quick hits, right? Like something you could use. It might be, system agnostic. DM Scotty plays tested it for like 4 to 5 years before releasing Easy D6. Yeah, it's a long, cycle for sure for some of them. Well, the garbage isn't going to organize itself. I'm going to bail. See you, Brett. Talk to you later. Yeah, good luck on the job front. Let me know how it goes if you get an update. It's a great idea. And even doing it as a community. I mean, I would love to do it as like, hey, who's in to do this thing and provide a deadline, and, everybody could just throw it out there. I don't know if I would stipulate what system it's for, right? It could be for just anyone. And then they could sell it themselves, right, individually. And it'd be cool to put them all and consolidate them into like a collection, and then sell it and try to implement them in one cohesive thing and then sell that. That gets funky with money. But if I did that and people were interested, I would have it like proceeds go to a particular charity or something. But you can sell it on your own, right? And then you can make money or whatever. I don't know. Wayne's Games. No, it's not the same Wayne. No, it's not the same Wayne's Game guy. No. Nope. Different Wayne. Still listening to this? Okay. Sounds good, Patrick. Giving you the stream numbers. Thanks for bumping up the stats. There's that micro RPG book, but it's pretty bad, in my opinion. Yeah, brochure, and it's, going back to the brochure thing, it is very interesting to come up with a design concept that is able to run succinctly, that it gives enough info, but is still confined to really an 8.5 by 11, double-sided, is really what it comes down to. I was thinking you could potentially do it for a game like Shadowdark or Insert Game. Shadowdark has tables, so it could literally be or even one thing I'd considered was ad libs. I don't know if you guys did ad libs as kids. We used to do it because my sister and I would be bored and we'd have to go to some relative's house in Vermont. And it's like, get ad libs. Tell me a noun. Fill it in. Give me a verb. And then you would read it. Right? I think there is something that would be interesting doing blanks in that. And then you could the GM could fill in those blanks. I don't know if that's the way to go. You want to name your monster. Maybe it's, they need to go over the mountains that are right outside the main city of. And so if you want to fit it into your campaign, just city of Greyhawk. You just write it in there. It's just a design kind of thing. I don't know. But some of those mothership brochures they've got a map. It could fit probably a good amount, but it's got to be rereadable too, right? But it's interesting because I think it challenges not only the person that's putting it together, but also the person that's going to run that specific game. There's such a balance between here's Curse of Strahd, tons of info and backstory. Much may not even be unveiled to the players ever. Pathfinder was notorious for it when I was in the AP space, right? They're not the actual play, but the campaign arcs, right? The Adventure Paths AP. Man, 96 pages, high gloss covers, great, just awesome adventures, great plots, good campaigns. Blah, way too much lore for me personally. Way too much to digest. But then if you get too far on the other end, it's not enough. So it's like a balance, right? The issue I heard with your idea was when I heard groups and D lines, I heard herd and cats. Cyberpunk fits the whole game in a little trifold brochure. It's fantastic. I know of Cyberpunk or CBR plus Punk. It's integrated with character sheets. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like even just the design of Mothership, the original, the zine, was pretty cool. I liked how they did it. Some of the flow charts with info and I don't know. I liked it wasn't just reading a paragraph of text and then, oh, and here's an example, another paragraph of text. Like Mothership was very much flow charty in its makeup and design, which is interesting. Deadlines, Patrick meant to say. Deadlines. I heard groups and deadlines. I heard cats. Yeah. Yes. Mothership's pretty much my favorite game right now. There you go. Shambot says, true, I just need a good framework. The story should get filled in on the fly while running the game. Oh, if it's one thing that's starting to really make me cringe. So I listened to Craig Shipman's Third Floor Wars podcast recently. I love Craig. And he was being interviewed by somebody. So they kind of split the show. They did the recording. I'll put it on my show feed, and you could put it on your show feed. And it was, ironically, one of the folks, the guy that interviewed Craig, is like down the street from me, Milwaukee, I think. And I am trying to remember who it was, but it was just, he was interviewing Craig on like gaming. And I could tell you in just a second who it was or what the topic was. How to Find the Right RPG was the episode. And it was Clint. I don't remember Clint's last name. How do you find the right game for your group? And he was just kind of talking. It was kind of bantering between the two individuals. And one of the topics that came up was like story. Like, well, how do you tell a great story or something like, and I apologize because I'm not giving it the verbatim context, but it's like, what about the story? And I find it kind of like, it makes like this one like vein pop out in my head because it goes to, yeah, it's a great story, but I would hope that the story is like when you're out of the game, like the story is what is produced after the session kind of thing. Does that make sense? I think that there's like, but for the story and, if you're going to try to tell a story, that's to me like sitting around in 1810 in the cabin, and you're weaving a tale to the group because it's like there's no TV or radio. And in RPGs, I think we just need to come up with situations to present to the players, have them react in whatever way they want, and the story comes out of that, right? Story comes out of play. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something that is kind of, because it kind of goes to, I have a story to tell, and we all know how that goes. I'm a game master, and I have a story to tell. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Here we go. Like, you're going to be playing in my story, whether you like it or not, which can lead to some very bad things. It's the antithesis of what I am all about and my players. Our idea is agency. Before we play, we talk about what we want to do. I can almost read. Our idea is to just do that. Yeah, in practice, I prep situations, not plots. Well, and that's to also touch on that. It's like, let's prep. Okay, we're probably going to need a combat encounter, probably this and this encounter. We'll probably throw in a social encounter. Like, can we just say it's an encounter? Why would the game master dictate whether it's a combat encounter? And then somebody will say, but Sean, it is the bad evil guy at the end of the game, right? It's inevitably, that's who they're tracking. That's who they're out to kill because they're going to ruin the world. Okay, I get that. Yes, that's not lost on me. But I still think it's like, put the players into a situation and let them determine what type of encounter it is. Maybe it's social. I think if you play with young kids, young children, you'd be surprised at how that works. Like I've heard tales of that, like people that have have had kids. Like Jim has, he has a young daughter. I don't know if she's even 4 yet, and she's a pistol. But the minute you say, "Oh, I'm going to throw a monster in front of this," I'm going to put a monster there, right? Oh, you go into the room and there's a monster. Okay, well, I talked to him. Why is he there? What's wrong, monster? Why are you here in this dungeon? Come with me. I'll lead you out. Right? Like, that's not a combat encounter. They've turned it into a social encounter, right? I suppose I say story when I should really clarify and say it's a group of decisions and problems that they can figure out. Yeah, and it may just be coming down to semantics. Like, the intention is what you're probably saying, Shambot, but it comes across as like, oh, but the story. Exactly, in session tomorrow, I am prepared for the party to rescue a captured NPC they are concerned about, and they have incentive to rescue. Yeah. However, they may decide to something different. My 6-year-old just wants to kill everything. In which case you will say, well, I'm going to give them a social encounter. Well, I'll just give them an encounter. Oh, it turns into a combat encounter. That's my 6-year-old for you, right? Story. It's got to be for the story. It's in the spirit of the story. Spirit of the game, maybe. Maybe being a good citizen, a good person of the game, following the leads, having discussions with the players, maybe not always agreeing, but, in the end, you toe the line. Yeah, I don't pan particular encounter types. I don't pan particular encounter types, yeah. And if they do that, it's fine. It's just me, right? Like, the players just make decisions. Those decisions decide what type of encounter happens. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of my take. Game masters should be as surprised as the players at times. And I don't know if that happens as much anymore. Sometimes. Especially if you have a kooky player base. Like, I don't know what these guys are going to do. Who knows what's going to happen here? That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do, like, campaigns are fun, but you kind of have to be careful with, it's the old, well, it's, I want to be careful of treading on the Tracy Hickman has screwed up the RPG hobby argument, right? Because I don't want to resort to that type of thinking either, but I think preference-wise, it's much more starting small. And if you do a campaign and it gets to be bigger and bigger, great. I think it also depends on the group, obviously. So, for example, I'm playing in Castles and Crusades this afternoon. My buddy Joe's running the game. He's purchased some published modules, even Pathfinder. So he's running things out of a published scenario. And that's fine, whatever. We also wanted to play a bit more in an OSR style game. And some would say, like, the debate of Castles and Crusades being OSR or not is not something I want to get into. But if we were to play like OSE or BX, something different, like they say Castles and Crusades would have been like 2.75 if Gary was around, or it would have been the 3.0 if TSR continued to own D&D. Whatever. The debate is there. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we play once a month for like 6 hours. And out of the 6 hours, we probably don't play every minute of those 6 hours. So you're probably getting in maybe five good hours of play. And it's hard to kind of keep in with the linear, thing and what's going on and what happened last month. And so I thought, well, if I ran a game for that same group, I'd probably run Shadowdark. Maybe it would be West Marches, but it would be I would probably turn it more into a pretzel and beer type of a game. Not serious, not an epic, right? Because from month to month, if they don't remember where they were last time, not a big deal. They're going to go into another dungeon or another temple or something like that. And maybe there's clues and there's a few things going on that they might come across that leads them to plots, if you will. But it's something I'm not interested in buying the mega campaign to run them through. Because, I don't know, I think for those you got to do it more consistently so things aren't forgotten and people retain their interest. Railsing the Roding Hickman. Here's a novel, play it. Yeah. Well, and Dragonlance was a different beast. The modules themselves were just, I don't know, such a weird thing. Because it was like, you could make up your own characters and run through the modules that mimic the books. I mean, I think I had 12 of those modules. Because I was pretty into Dragonlance at the time, but we couldn't run them. I think we ran 2 adventures, and I was just like, because we already know we read the books. Hey, Hoos. Yeah, man. This is the hidden track. I was like putting my stuff away and I hit one of the buttons and like my head was on screen, right? It took off the black screen and then people were just keep chatting. So I'm like, I'll just hang out. I got to hang up and pretty shortly here, probably like, cause I got to pack my stuff up for the game. But yeah, we're just bullshitting, dude. Shambot says that's how our old man D&D game goes. It's really just a subtle excuse for us to get together and not have to play cards. Well, that's what it is, kind of. And I was getting caught up. Like, I think that was the demise of the Curse of Strahd game. I was taking things too seriously. I couldn't get these guys to be invested in muster, and I didn't like it at all. And it fizzled, and, these guys probably are reluctant to have me run a game again. And, potentially justified, right? Justifiably so. I've had games and I've started and it's like gone 2 sessions and I'm like, no, F it. So, but I think it has to be more lighter in its approach. Like if I throw a bunch of NPCs with names and plots and, it's mysterious, although I know Jeff really wants to play Delta Green. That would be the exception. Delta Green, yeah, baby. Like, that's the opposite of what I'm talking about. But I don't know how serious, like, buddy Joe, I feel so bad for him. Myself and Andy, one of the guys in the group, and if Jeff watches this, it'd be, I owe Joe big apologies. Because, man, the last session, Andy and I would just screw off the whole, like, an hour at a time. We were just so disruptive. We were just rude. I feel bad. I don't know. I'm like, I told Andy, I said, right now, if I were Joe, I would reach over and strangle myself. Just not, I was totally checked out. What are we doing? All right. 9. Initiative. All right. Kind of pay attention. My turn? All right. I'm going to rush in. Smack him. 2. Missed. And I get on these kicks in D20 is not a great system for me. There are times when I am just never rolling above a 5. This is Sean. Sean, welcome to Sean the Woe Hour. My logistic solution is always aspire to have 6 players. We play every 2 weeks without fail. We play if I get 50% attendance based on a response the Wednesday before the session. That way the campaign keeps momentum without having to bear beer and pretzels or West Marches as the only options. So we get agency in a long-term campaign with decisions and consequences. Yeah, that's kind of standard. I mean, these guys just won't, they're not going to play that often. It's just not going to happen. I've tried. It's just not going to happen. I'm okay. Like, it's just, that's the expectations. And I've had to come to grips with that and go, hey, here's the situation. This is the way it is. You can't, that's why opt-in is such a big thing. I don't know if many people have heard me talk about opt-in. Hi, everybody. I'm the game master. I'm going to run a game. This is the game. These are the rules. This is when we're going to meet. This is how long we're going to play as far as duration. Here's the tone. Here's the subject matter. Here's kind of we're starting at first level. We're not starting at fifth. Blah, 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 blah. That's it. Are you in? If you're in, this is what I'm selling. Are you buying what I'm selling? Versus, well, I have my home group and I want to try Twilight 2000. So I have to sell it to them. Hey, like, Delta. Hey, I want to play Delta Green. Anybody else interested? Come on. You want to play Delta Green. Come on. Okay, well, I'll give it a shot. None of them own the books. They do. Jeff does. But like, do we have to buy another book? Yeah. Oh, great. His wife's not a big Delta Green. She's not a horror person. So that's a hard sell. So then, what happens? Like kicking a person out of the group. All right, see ya, Mauburn. But it's opt-in, man. The tricky thing is people don't want to opt in because they want to play with their friends. They want to play with their game group. Their game group is the friends they've known for 10 years. And they're great. And if you got good chemistry and they're all on the same page and they're willing to flex and maybe play different games, if you're the forever game master and you want to stop playing 5th edition forever and you want to introduce a new game. But that can be such a heavy lift. Like, I know I was talking to Demon Grinder the other night, and it's like, he's got long-term relationships. They play a different game. Well, somebody has a different style and they don't want to do X, so they play it in a different way. They're just not jamming on Twilight 2000 and my GURPS game, so I don't know. And then it becomes a problem. Because we're older and we value our time. And even though it's like gaming, it's still kind of like, I'm here to game and spend time with you guys. Like, is it equal? So, exactly. I only use method 1 of opt-in. The other method is poison. Oops. I had that friend game group logic when I was an immature 21-year-old, not now. Well, yeah, and that's all dependent upon like who you have access to as well. What's going on here? Noon, yep. Guys are just texting me to be over by noon. Well, true. We start out with I think the thing with RPGs and game groups is you get into a game group ideally with your friends, and you're with your friends because it's a trusted, you get some trust amongst each other, right? You can act a certain way. There's a social contract that says like, we bring food, we're quiet when the game master talks, or we're obnoxious when the game master talks, and there's a certain chemistry that comes from that. Slide in any jargon you want in why people play with the people that they do, and then years may go by, sessions may go by, and it realize like hanging out with these friends are cool, but I don't know if I want to hang out with my friends and still game this way. Still love my friends, but I want to play games in a different manner or different type of game. They may be on board, they may not. If they are, great, and it works, great, and that chemistry rolls over, fine. But sometimes it doesn't, and that happens like as life goes on, and people experience different things. I don't want to say people change, but they do. Or they tolerate things less or more, and that toleration impacts the thing. Like, do I want to spend time with this group who are my good friends, playing in this way? Or can I just go over there and watch a football game with them and then play with other people that kind of jam in the same way that I do for gaming? Many of the groups, I'm guessing, will tolerate the pain of their own home group as long as humanly possible, as frustrating as that can be. So they don't get into the opt-in piece because they're strangers. I don't know them. I don't know what they're about. And there's a weirdness about that too, right? Like, you don't know me. I posted on a bulletin board at the hobby shop. Come play a game with me. Okay. Right? I have great friends who love hockey. I ain't going to hockey games. There you go. That's fine, right? Exactly. But I think that comes with time. It comes with time. Like, that's why there's cliques, and then, you're a different person when you're growing up in junior high than you are in high school, than you are in college, than you are as an adult, because everything kind of moves on. Until you get to that moving on stage, you're still kind of hanging on to clicks. And with the advent of social media, it's even, more interesting, because some of us didn't have social media until we were well into our 30s. So the connections we had prior to that, we reconnected through these social media angles. Like with Jeff and the game group I'm playing with today, we've known each other for a shit ton of long time, but we haven't kept in contact with each other all those years. But with nowadays, with the advent of social media, you can be connected with people for forever, which makes it, maybe you don't get that separation piece. Well, I used to know them, but, we just kind of grew apart. It's weird. People are weird. Opt-in method, I meet new friends. True. Again, it takes a certain, either you have to be there are people that do it. They age doesn't matter. They're just that person. Like, they're social butterfly. They fit into different game groups. They're personable. They kind of, I don't want to say conform, because that seems weird, but they kind of jam in different groups no matter what the chemistry is. And then there's some that just it's hard to do that. No, and I totally get it. Totally get it. I've gamed with a lot of different people. And I find I've been more lucky. I've been very fortunate. This might help, because they kind of get an idea who I am, right? If I were to post on a Discord and say, hey, anybody want to join my game? They kind of know what they're getting into, just through my interactions, right? They could probably determine I'm not a complete a-hole. So they're like, oh, well, check that box. I think that seems fine. Secondly, by using tech and the internet to try to emulate the best of the actual table while discarding the parts that are just outdated online is the way to go. Yeah. I think it's just you and me, Patrick. I don't know anybody else is listening. Good stuff. I got to get going. I got to pack my bag. Dice. Actually, they're all right here. I took them out of I have a go bag for some of my gaming. And I got to put this all in my go bag. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This is like one of the longest streams I probably had in a long, long time. Thanks for keeping me company, Patrick, and everybody else that may still be lurking and listening. I really appreciate it. I'll be here next week, as usual. So, yeah. I got to sign off, though. I promise I'm signing off this time. So have a great day, wherever you are. Wherever you are, whenever you are. There's Shambot. Aaron's there. I'm talking about him. Right? Struggle is real. So, there you go, guys. Peace. See ya. Thanks for keeping me company. We'll talk to you later. Ciao.